Okay, today we're going to talk about some basics of systems of equations. There are multiple ways to solve systems of equations, so how will you know which method to choose? To begin with, I have two equations, and they both start out with y equals. This gives me a clue that I can use either graphing or the calculator, or I can solve them by hand. If I were going to graph them, I would graph the first one starting at positive 3 on the y-axis, make a point, and then go up 2 over 1, make another point. Now the second one, I would start at negative 9 on the y-axis, make a point. Then I would go up 4 over 1 to make a second point and draw that line. Where the lines cross, that's where you'll get your answer. However, since they both say y equals, y is equal to this, y is equal to that, therefore this must equal that. So that gives us an equation of one variable that we can solve. Move all x's to the same side. Well, this side has the most, so I'm going to move these two x's to this side. 3 equals 2x minus 9. Move everything else to the other side. So plus 9 plus 9, 12 equals 2x. Divide both sides by 2. X equals 6. Now that I know how much x is, I'm going to use one of these equations to solve for y. I think I'll use this one since everything is positive. So y equals 2 times 6 plus 3, 12 plus 3, 15. Y equals 15. So our solution is the point 6, 15. Now how can we do that in the calculator? Well, it's very simple. So long as both equations start out with y equals. I'm using the TI-84 plus. There we go. And here are the steps. I want to go to y equals. Type the first equation in. Type the second one in. And then push second, trace, 5 for intersect. Wait until writing comes up on the bottom of the screen. And then push enter 3 times. And here's my solution. 6, 15. Well, what if the equations look like this? Where one of them is set up as y equals, but the other has the x and the y both on the same side of the equal sign. Now, there's nothing that says that you can't change the form of this equation so that they both start out y equals. But this is a case where we would normally use what's called substitution. We know what y is equal to, so in the other equation, we're going to substitute what y is equal to in for the y. So, for example, negative 4x plus, now I'm ready for the y, but instead of putting y, I'm going to put what y is equal to. 5x minus 7 equals negative 1. There's some simplifying that can occur over here. Negative 4x's plus 5x's means I have 1x minus 7 equals negative 1. Add 7 to both sides. X equals 6. Now it's time to calculate y. I'm going to use this equation since it's already set up for y equals. So y equals 5 times 6 minus 7. Y equals 30 minus 7. Y equals 23. So our solution is the point 6, 23. But what if the equations are set up this way? This, when the x and the y are both on the same side of the equation for both equations, is a perfect example of elimination. Elimination means that we're going to add or subtract. Sometimes we'll need to multiply or divide, but mainly add or subtract to get rid of one of the variables. Here the y's both have 1 as a coefficient, positive 1, negative 1. That means if we add the two equations together, the y's will be eliminated. So adding both equations, we get 6x equals 3. Divide by 6, divide by 6, x equals 3 over 6, or 1/2. Now that I know how much x is, I can use it to calculate for y. I'll use the top one since everything is positive. So 4 times 1/2 plus y equals 6. 4 times 1/2 is 2. 2 plus y equals 6. Minus 2 minus 2, y equals 4. So the solution is x is 1/2, y is 4. Now the thing about elimination is it can also be done entirely in the calculator, using the coefficients of each variable and the constant, using matrix. So we're going to do this same problem again, only this time we're going to use the calculator to do the whole thing. Now again, the key is when the two variables are both on the same side of the equal sign, and they also both need to be in the same order. X is first, y is second. X is first, y is second. It could be the other way around, y first, x second, as long as it's that same way in both equations. So to do the matrix, we're just going to follow these steps right here. Here's the first one. Second, inverse. Go over to edit, enter, 2, enter, 3, enter. We're down to here now. Now it's time to build the matrix. It's going to be like we took all the letters, operators, and equal sign out, and everything that's left, that's what we're going to type in. 4, there's 1y, and the answer is 6. 2, there's negative 1y's, and the answer is negative 3. So we just built the matrix. Now it's second mode, second inverse. Go over to math. So we are right here. Look for option B, RREF, second inverse, enter, enter. And there's our answer. Now how do you read this? How you read this is the 1 in the first column and in the first row means answer. For first variable. Our first variable was x, so here's the answer for x, 0.5. The 1 in the second column, second row, means the answer for second variable. Our second variable was y, so the answer for y is 4.